Hello and welcome to Let's Play Dragon's Curse Remake. Back in 1989 in North America, a video games console was released called the TurboGrafx 16. This console was known as the PC Engine in Japan. This console also had a release in the UK in 1990. Now, one of my favourite Sega Master System games is Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap. I've done a playthrough of that game, and I've also done a playthrough of the Game Gear version, which was just known as Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. I talked about the differences between those two games during my playthrough of the Game Gear version. A version of this game was also released on the TurboGrafx 16, and it was just known as Dragon's Curse, and it was released by Hudson Soft. As far as I know, the differences between Dragon's Curse and the Master System version, they're very minor. Lion Man, I think, is called Tiger Man, and the music is slightly different because the TurboGrafx 16 uses a different sound chip. I still prefer the Master System music, however, although the music in Dragon's Curse and the Dragon's Curse remake I'm about to play is more or less identical, except for some minor differences. Anyway, now back in 2007, someone calling himself Vile1011 made a remake of Dragon's Curse that he called Dragon's Curse Remake, naturally, and he has made a game that vastly improves over the original. Now, I know that's sort of a bit heretical, especially coming from someone like me who really loves Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap, but if you see my playthrough of that game, I did detail a few complaints about that game. Complaints such as it was a bit too linear, Hawkman didn't get his own proper way, it's a bit too short as well, and I mean non-linear in the sense that Mouseman has his way, and then you finish with that, then you never go back there, then you have Piranha Man's way, then never go back there. In this game, every area is connected with every other area, and you have to keep going back as different characters. It's a really big game, it's really fun to play, and it's really difficult. I'm not being arrogant, but I've completed Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap so many times that I like to consider myself an expert at it. I know where every secret door is, etc., etc. And I thought before playing this game that I would be, that I'd find it really easy. But it's actually extremely difficult, and it took me a few times to complete it properly. There are loads of secrets in it as well. So without further ado, let's play Dragon's Curse Remake. So I'll talk more about the game when I come across things that remind me of what I want to talk about, if that makes sense. Anyway, let's press, as this game was only released on the PC, and it was released in 2007, and my computer is only a couple of years old, I've actually known about this game for several years, but I've only just played it about a few weeks ago, because it took me a while to get it working on my computer. I mean, I've been trying ages to get it working on my computer, and I finally installed something that allowed it to work, so I'm really pleased with that. It wasn't a proper installation, it didn't work extremely well, but the game works, so that's all that matters really. The thing actually that I installed didn't install properly, but the game works, so I'm not complaining. Anyway, so yeah, for this I'm actually using a wireless keyboard, so you'll have to bear with me. I'm not as good with this as I am with a normal controller. So anyway, press the return key, and here we go. Okay, let's have a read of the help section that Vile has made for us. Okay, transformations. Wonder Boy is the hero of this adventure, but not for long. Lizard Man, yeah, he's now red, not green. I think I prefer the green version, probably only because of nostalgia. Anyway, Lizard Man has no shield. He's misspelled shield, but I'll let that slide. But he can breathe. He's misspelled breathe as well. But he can breathe fire. He can also fall into lava without taking damage. Now, a complaint I actually had of the original Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap is that that special attribute of Lizard Man that he's not affected by lava, it wasn't used in the game. You know, there's no point in his having it apart from giving you a clue that the dragon male helps you to survive underneath lava, because Lizard Man's effectively a dragon, a miniature dragon. And you know, and it's really annoying because I think that, you know, they could have expanded on that, but in this game Vile seems to have realised that, and he has utilised Lizard Man's ability to survive underneath lava without getting hurt. So that's a really nice touch, and I'm really pleased, Vile. Thanks for that, if you are watching this. Yeah, so that's a really nice touch, Vile. Anyway, he can also fall into lava without taking damage. Okay, Mouse Man can fit into tiny spaces. He can stick to checkered blocks by jumping towards them while holding down the jump button. Yeah, that's a lot more awkward to do in this game than it was in Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap. Piranha Man is a lot like Wonder Boy, if Wonder Boy had gills and no knees. Yeah, that means he can't duck. He can swim by tapping the jump button while underwater. Tiger Man, yeah, just like in the TurboGrafx 16 version, this is based on that game. Lion Man was called Tiger Man for some reason. I've no idea why. They just changed it. He's exactly the same apart from that. Tiger Man swings his sword in arc to hit things above and below him. Hawkman is the last form you will obtain. He can fly by pressing the jump key in the air. Okay, equipment. Swords are your all-purpose monster poking devices. Shields determine how much damage you'll take from projectiles. Armour determines how much damage you'll take from running into enemies and traps. Now, in the original Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap, there were attack points determined by your weapon and by the form that you have. Then there was just defense points, and that was determined by the form you had, by the shields and by the armour. So all sort of amalgamated. Now in this game, there are separate shield and armor points. So the shield points only count for taking damage from projectiles like fireballs and things. And armor accounts for the armor points account for touching enemies or lava or things like that. So that's a nice touch as well. What Vile has done is removed the charm points. If you remember my playthrough of the Game Gear version, Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap, they also removed the charm points, but in a bad way. They just made it too easy to get the really good equipment. All we needed is loads of money. Whereas in Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap, it was too difficult to get the really good equipment because you needed so much charm. There wasn't a balance. I do think charm points were a nice touch, but Vile has removed them from the game. However, he has made a nice balance. It's not too easy to get the equipment because it's difficult to find. So you have to find the equipment. So he's removed the need for charm points, even though I did like that touch. So you don't really notice that you don't need charm points. You don't notice that it's missing. Whereas in Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap on the Game Gear, it was too easy to get the best equipment because you didn't need charm points. Whereas on the Master System version, it was too difficult to get the equipment. There's a nice balance in this game, and I do like it. But he hasn't included charm points. Anyway, so shields determine how much damage you'll take from projectiles, and armour determines how much damage you'll take from running into enemies and traps. Special swords. The Thunder Saber. If you can find this sword, you can break certain blocks. Magical Saber. This sword will create blocks if you strike special tiles. Lucky Sword. When you use this sword, enemies will give you more money on average when defeated. Yeah, that was mentioned in the manual for the Master System version. Hades Armour. With this armour you have a small chance of getting extra life if you run out of health. Now on the Game Gear, I think the Game Gear versions, and the Master System versions definitely on the Master System version, possibly on the Game Gear version, I can't remember. Hades Armour acted like another medicine if you wore it, but only lasted once. If you used your Hades Armour to get all your health back, you'd have to buy another one, which was annoying. In this game, you don't lose the Hades Armour, it just gives you a random chance of getting all your health back if you run out of medicines and you lose all your health. So that's a nice touch as well. You don't actually lose the Hades armour this time, sort of use it up. Although in Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap, you only lost the armour if you used it to get your health back. You only lost the armour if you actually checked to see if you have the armour, then it definitely goes. If you don't check that it's gone, then you still have it, and it still works, bizarrely. I think that's how it works anyway. It was a bit glitchy. Anyway, Dragon Mail. Equip this armor and you won't take damage from lava. Crystal Breaker destroys blue crystals on contact. Now that's a new item in this game. Now if you remember in the Master System and Game Gear versions, there was an enemy called the Fuzzball, which sort of flashes blue. And you could kill them eventually with fireballs and with your sword eventually, but it took loads of hits. And they didn't give you anything after they die. In this game, Vile has renamed them. He's called the Fuzzballs Crystals. And you can't kill them with a sword or fireballs or anything. They just they sort of block your way and hurt you. And you need to get a special armor, some special armor called the Crystal Breaker if you want to break them. So that's how it works now. And also there's the Crystal Breaker. It goes in the place that was previously occupied by the Goblin Mail in the Master System version. So there's no Goblin Mail anymore. It's replaced by the Crystal Breaker. There's also no Night Shield. At least I can't find the Night Shield or the item that would have gone into the place of the Night Shield. So there's always a shield missing where the Night Shield would be. I don't know if there is a Night Shield or if Vile just didn't put it in. I don't know. But I can't seem to find it. So I'm guessing there's no Night Shield. So that's that. Yeah, so the Crystal Breaker replaces the Goblin Mail, so there's no Goblin Mail anymore. Which doesn't really matter because the Goblin Mail was quite weak, and the thing about the Goblin Mail was it was slightly stronger than the Mythal Armour, except it lowered your charm down to rock bottom because it makes you look like a goblin. But charm points aren't a thing in this game, so you don't really need that gimmick, or you don't really need to think about that gimmick rather. Anyway, here are the items. Hearts restore 1/4 of your health. Not entirely sure they work like that. Sometimes they give a whole heart back, sometimes they give 2, so I'm not entirely sure. Large hearts will fill your health to the maximum, yep, just like before. Medicine gives you extra life if you run out of health. Now, on the Master System version, you can only hold a maximum of 3. In this game, you can hold a maximum of 9, and believe me, you need them. This game is difficult. Now, on the Master System version, sometimes they would only give you 1 or 2 hearts back, which I think there is a way of making get all your health back, I think, if you hold down a button combination, but I never tested that out, and I consider it cheating anyway. In this game, they always give you your health back, all the health back, so it doesn't matter. Okay? Right, so, yeah, but you can hold 9 of them now, which is really good because you do need them. Okay, keys. Use these to unlock doors. Okay, medicines, hearts, and large hearts are also a lot rarer. I've only ever managed to find some medicines from a couple of enemies, and it seems to me that the enemies that drop hearts, they always drop hearts, whereas sometimes in the Master System version there were some that would usually drop hearts, but sometimes they wouldn't. Or maybe they dropped a fireball if you're at full health, I can't remember now. But I think it's if you're at full health, they drop a fireball instead on the Master System version. Now, if you remember on the Master System version, you could only hold 1 key, and if you ever lost a key, you could just return back to a chest that had a key, and it would have a key again. That isn't the case in this game. There are exactly a certain number of doors and a certain number of keys. And they're both equal. So if you need a key and you don't have one, there is a key around that you can get, but you can't keep going back for a key, and you can hold more than one. So if there's a locked door, there's definitely a key around. There are enough keys in the game to unlock every door, so you have to find them. That's a nice touch. Anyway, magic stones. He calls them magic stones, not charm stones now, because there's no charm points. Anyway, magic stones. Collect these in order to open numbered doors. Try to find all 50. Yeah, there are 50 magic stones in the whole game. By the way, if you ever find a key, the chest will make sure that you do pick it up. You definitely pick it up. You can't not pick up a key if you need it. That's not the case with magic stones. If you find a magic stone, don't pick it up and it goes away, or you go out of the screen, then you've lost the magic stone. And either restart the game or load your game from a previous section, because if you don't find all 50, you won't be able to do this, get the special ending or the special final boss. So make sure you get every charm stone. First time I played through this, I got to the end of the game with only 47 and thought that I'd missed a chest. Searched through the whole game. It wasn't that. I hadn't missed a chest. I had actually neglected to pick. I'd neglected to pick up a couple of 3 charm stones or 3 magic stones, and because of that, they were gone, and there's nothing I could do about it, so I had to do the whole game again. So if there's a chest that has magic stones coming out of it, make sure you pick every one up, otherwise they'll disappear and you can't pick them up again unless you load your game or restart the game. Yeah, so yeah. Money. Swords and shields aren't free, you know. Doors. Normal doors. Press up while standing in front of the door to open it. Green doors. You can only open these doors if you have a key. On the Master System version, these doors these were the locks that you only needed to unlock once, they're not always unlocked. But on this one, they're just locked doors that don't lead to a dungeon. Red doors, these lead to dungeons, don't enter them until you're ready. Now on the Master System version, these were doors they had to be unlocked every time. On this game, they're now just the same as the green doors, except, you only have to unlock them once, because there's only a certain number of keys in the game, don't forget. But these are the same as green doors, except they lead to dungeons, so that's how you know there's a dungeon ahead. So that's a nice touch. I think I prefer this system to the Master System version as well. Shops. Buy health and equipment from these fine vendors. And guess who's back? Yes, the smoking pig, thank God. On the Game Gear version, they got rid of him, probably because, oh no, we can't have people smoking on a video game for children. I mean, who cares? So, smoking pig's back. On the Game Gear version, it was some bearded man with a turban or something. I didn't like that. It's now back to smoking pig, how it should be. Number doors. You can only open these doors if you have at least as many magic stones in your inventory. I think there are 4 of them in total. And yeah, you can only get a special item once you have, or rather a special door opens with a special item in it after all 50 magic stones are collected. So that's why you need all 50. Special weapons. Sometimes your sword alone just isn't enough to take down the enemy. You have 5 special weapons you can select from the equipment menu. Use them by holding the down arrow and pressing the jump key. Fireballs, powerful projectiles with good reach. Tornado, bounces off walls and can hit targets far away. Arrows, use these to take down enemies above you. Boomerangs, they may be weak, but you can catch them to use again. Lightning, damages all nearby enemies. Save this for when you really need it. It's called lightning, but in the game it's called thunder. The magic weapons are a lot harder to find now. Hints. If you're having trouble with an area, go exploring. You never know what helpful items you may find. Don't enter dungeons until you've found all the extra hearts in the area. You should be able to find at least 1 extra heart in each zone. Yeah, they're a lot harder to find as well, but they are around. There are 7 hearts to get, giving you 8 total. So they are around, you have to find them. And that's that. Okay, so yeah, I'm using a wireless keyboard. I've been yabbering on for 17 minutes now. Let's play the game. This is the monster world. Now, undaunted by many difficulties, you at last arrive at your final destination. Your goal is the room where the fearsome dragon resides. However, there is something you didn't count on. The fact that on the dragon there is a terrible curse. And here we go. Oh yeah, sometimes it does that. Yeah, the sound effects aren't working. Excuse me one moment, I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back, and the sound effects now work, so let's start the game again. Yeah, I just reloaded the game. Sometimes it does that. Okay. So, at the moment we're human. Yeah, I've chosen button 2 to be the apostrophe and button 1 to be the semicolon. The directional buttons I've just chosen to be WASD. Anyway, so we're human and we have the legendary equipment only, and we have loads of attack, 225, loads of defense, loads of shield points, so 225 and 220 respectively. Okay. Yeah, another thing Vile has done, if you remember in the Master System version there were red enemies, then there were green enemies, then there were blue enemies in order of difficulty. Vile has also made gold enemies, and believe me, some of them are extremely annoying and extremely difficult. If you thought the blue ninjas were difficult from the Master System version, wait till you see the gold ninjas. They are absolutely mad. They're some of the hardest enemies I've ever encountered in any video game. Yeah, so the music is slightly different because this is the TurboGrafx 16 music. Oh. Okay, here's our old friend, the Wandering Bone, also known as the Wandering Born, because that's what it was called on the credits of the Master System version, and some people consider that the real name of the enemy. It's a Wandering Born, even though it's clearly a typo. But on the Game Gear version, they actually corrected themselves and called it a Wandering Bones, plural. Anyway, here's the first boss, the Meka Dragon. He's slightly harder now because he shoots a bit more. It's a lot harder to do one attack after the other like I did on the Master System version. Another thing Vile has done to make it more difficult is I don't think there's any temporary invincibility. You can still get hurt while you're flashing, which is a bit annoying. So that just makes it harder. Oh, damn. Yes. There we go. Okay, trying to get as much gold as I can. Yes, come on. Don't you dare you get. Give me that gold. No. Let's go away. Yep. Oh, damn. Only got 57. That's not too bad, though. Okay, now we're Lizard Man, and our stats have gone right down. Yep, we now have 155 attack with the legendary sword. This should give me a big heart, yep. This will always give you the key. That's one of the few enemies that gives you a key. Usually they're picked up from chests. Also, if you remember the Master System version, you had to be dead center with your attacks. If you struck the sword out, you'd only hit an enemy directly touching the sword. It's now a lot easier to hit enemies now, so if an enemy is slightly above or slightly below your sword or your flame, it will register as a hit, so it's a bit easier to hit enemies now. You don't have to be exact, like on the fire flowers. You have to get exactly the red bit on the fire flowers. Anyway, I was going to. Well, I did say I was going to do Teddy Boy next from the Sega Master System, but I'd rather do this now. I'll do Teddy Boy next, but you know, I'd much rather do this because this is a better game. I mean, I don't make any profit on these videos or any money or anything, no monetization. This is purely for my own pleasure, and I'd much rather do this, so I'm playing this. So I'll do Teddy Boy afterwards if any of you were waiting for that. I apologise. Anyway. Oh no, they got you. You've been cursed with a dragon, and now you're a gruesome creature. I don't think you're that bad. You have no choice but to search out the powerful antidote of the Salamander Cross. Your success depends on your acquiring the legendary armour and arsenal to assist you in the battle against 5 beastly brutes. You are a desperado in your fight to return your good looks and to save the world from the clutches of these dragons. And here we are. And yes, Smoking Pig is back. Hello, old friend. I didn't like that horrible bearded, turban-wearing usurper at all. It was always you from the start, Smoking Pig, so don't think I forsook you. Anyway, so you can save your game here. There's no passwords like in the Master System version, so you don't lose any money, medicines, or magical weapons. When you save your game, everything is saved. So you can save your game now if you want. I'll just overwrite this one that I was doing. Okay. Okay, let's explore this area. Okay, so let's have a look inside the shop first. Okay, and now again we don't need charm points, so everything is visible. So we have Mithril Shield, Mithril Armour, and Mithril Sword. Let's get the sword, and then we'll have to get those later once we have enough money. So let's equip the Mithril Sword. It gives us 4 more attack points, up to 12 now, because we have the ivory stuff by default. Okay, let's go inside this door. Okay, so we need 15 magic stones if we want to open that door. We'll have to open it later. Okay, a bit of money, and our first charm stone. Make sure you get that, because if it goes off the screen or disappears or something, then you won't be able to get it unless you reload your game or restart the game or something. Well, let's go down here. And guess what's down here? Yep, it's our first heart, or the second one if you like. So that's that, lovely, so now we have 2 hearts. Okay, let's look a bit further on. That's a hospital, like before. Okay, down the well is just where we were before, just another way down there for some reason. Okay, so yep, so we can't go beyond there without being Mouse Man, just like before. That's Tiger Man's way or Lion Man's way if you're used to the Master System version. Okay, so yeah, so that leads down there. There's one more place at which to look, so we'll just go back up again. Now that needs a key, of course. We'll be getting that shortly. Okay, in here is yep, there's the door that needs 50 magic stones, so that's a long way off, and then there's that place like before. Let's go over here. And here's the old Sidecrawler's Dance. I must say I do prefer the Master System version of Sidecrawler's Dance. This one doesn't seem as good. Anyway, yep, there's the church again. I'm just seeing if there's another door. Okay, so let's go to the beach with the Sidecrawler's Dance, and then let's go all the way to the right and pick up our first key. And we need some money for the other mythical equipment as well, don't we? Okay, don't go in the water if you can help it, of course. Well, I'll just show you actually. There's our old friends, the giant fish. Yeah, so we can't get to over there without being Piranha Man like before. Okay, there's the fire octopus, as it was in the Master System credits, even though it's octopus. Okay, notice how there's a door there? Yep, there's a door over here, so go in here. It's pretty easy to find, I found. Okay, more stuff. I think there's a few fireballs. Yep, that's it. Make sure you pick up everything just in case there's a charm stone or something that you missed. Once it's out, it's out. Yeah, and yeah, I will say this again. The plural of octopus is not octopi. Yeah, it is octopuses or I think it's pronounced octopodes or something, but most people say octopuses. It isn't octopi. That's a mistake. Anyway, people think it is because there's fungus and fungi, but it isn't. It isn't octopi. It's not octopi. It's really annoying when I hear people say that. It's octopuses. Anyway, anyway, keep going this way. Ah, you little git. Nah, leave it. Yeah, this game is a lot harder. Even this bit is a bit harder, I find. Ugh. Oh, good, he gave me a heart. Okay, yes, that way is only accessible with Piranha Man like before. Well, it's a different area actually, but it's like I just said, it's with the other place with the door. It's inaccessible with Piranha Man, and we don't have an arrow for the hovering smog. Luckily, these two enemies always drop arrows, so so goodbye hovering smog with his annoying sunglasses. Go away. I mean, I understand why he's wearing sunglasses, because he's in the sky all the time looking at the sun, so that doesn't mean he has to drop flames on me. Okay, down there is another way for Piranha Man, so we'll do that later, of course. Okay, that's a roper. That's called a roper. We can't get over there, so we need to go inside this door. The door just warps us there immediately with nothing in between. And there's some green side crawlers. I can't remember if there are gold side crawlers in this game. I can't remember. There are only certain enemies that go gold. There's a blue side crawler. Hence side crawler's dance. I said that during my Master System playthrough. Okay. Okay, so we have loads of gold now. Can't get that yet. What's in here? It's our first key. Yeah, so unlike the Master System version, you can't just keep coming back here for a key like I did in my playthrough of that game. You have to, if you want another key, you have to find another one somewhere else. There's only a finite number of keys in the game, not infinite. Although you can hold more than one, which is good. Oh, I hate this. Oh, damn, I'm nearly dead. Luckily, that was close, actually. Although I do have a medicine. Luckily, these enemies give you hearts, I think. Or one of them does. Yeah, there's one. Maybe this one as well? No, just one. Yes, we have to go all the way back there, annoyingly. Heart. Good. Oh no, that gave me hardly any. Oh, it must be a quarter then. Yeah, I seem to remember later on, maybe it's because I had more hearts later on, they gave me 2 hearts for one of them. Well no, that was more than a quarter there, wasn't it? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. I'll just say they give you a random number of, a random amount of health, and go away, hovering smog. Hovering smog. Yeah, for some reason, in the credits of the game, the enemies are, you know, they're listed like before, but the Wandering Bone isn't. So maybe they, maybe Vile was sort of trying to avoid himself the controversy of the Wandering Bone, Wandering Born thing. So it's just called a. So no one knows what's. So you don't find out what it's called in this game, whether it's a Wandering Bone or a Wandering Born. But of course, you know which camp that I side with. It's a Wandering Bone. Perhaps you'd like to leave a comment and tell me which camp you that you side with, Wandering Bone or Wandering Born. Let me know and why. Anyway, yes, now we have that. We have some money for this equipment, 13.45 to get the stuff. Let's equip it quickly. Mithril Shield, that gives us 7 more shield points, and Mithril Armour will give us, that gives us 9 more defense points. Let's go to the hospital, as I like to call it, and then 50 gold, bit pricey, but never mind. Right, okay, now we have a key. Now we can go up here. So let's go. Yep, that's just like before. We need to be Mouse Man. Now, it looks like there's nothing here, but we'll be coming back there later on down the line. But for now, we'll just leave it. Anyway, go in this door. Don't go right like before. Go left, of course. The right leads to somewhere nasty that we can't handle yet because we're too weak. Try to get all the gold you can. Now this is interesting. Yeah, you know, note what I was talking about earlier. See, in the Master version, if I ducked and blew a flame, it wouldn't kill him. In this game, it does. So that's that. That's just a difference, just a minor difference, which I think improves the game a bit. You know, it was sort of made it. It's a cheap way of making it more difficult in the Master version. In this game, it sort of it makes it fair. You know, it makes it easier, but it makes it fair, which is nice. Which is more important, I think. It has to be fair. It. Yeah, so this place has been sort of redesigned a bit, so it looks a bit different. I actually prefer it this way. There's a lot more decoration in this game, and I do like it. It seemed a bit sort of bare bones in the Master System version, like they sort of rushed it. In this one, there's a lot more interest. There are a lot more interesting things to look at. Tornado. Okay, now we can't get back up there. We'll be getting that chest a lot later, but not now. Okay, here we need to get this chest. This is important. No, run out of stuff. Fireball won't work, will it? Just get him normally. There we go. There's a Wandering Bone over here. Come here. And gives me health, which is nice of him. Cyclops and a bat. A couple of bats. Right, okay, make sure you jump over this hole. There we go. In here is another key. Lovely. Remember, there are only a finite number of keys in this game, so you need them all if you want to complete the game properly. Nice arrow, thank you. Rather than money, though. Right. Okay, so we need to find a way back up. Now, before we go back up, we're going to go all the way to the left, just like in the Master System version. So we'll go back up later. Now, in the Game Gear version, they actually prevented one from going to the right in the desert, you know, towards the lava area, with anything but Piranha Man or Hawkman, because there was a wall preventing you from going in any further to the right. Yeah, we'll be doing those doors later. So you had to be Piranha Man if you wanted to go to the right first. The first time you go to the right is with Piranha Man. and you had to go you have to go underwater to gain access to it, or fly over it with Hawkman, but that's a lot later on. You don't need to go there as Hawkman. But in this one, yeah, you don't go. Yeah, that doesn't happen. You can go there now if you want, just like in the Master System version, but you don't need to. Ah, git. It was a roper, I completely forgot about him. And here's another key, and yes, we do need every single key, and you will see why. So that place is a dead end now, so back we go. That was some quick reaction. Now, I first discovered this game because someone, as a YouTube user, a very good YouTube user, you should subscribe to him in my opinion, called Waddler D, who did this game, and he's it's Waddler, i.e. the word Waddler, and then D, that's his username. Although his playlist of this is sort of, for some reason it's missing a part. One of the bits has been deleted, which is annoying. There's also another playthrough with no commentary by a French man, so there's no commentary for that one, so you don't really know what's going on. I didn't want to do that, but okay. Nope. Right, I'll have to wait a minute. I'll use the thunder. There we go. Oh. That's the one I went down originally, I think. Yeah, that's the one I went down originally. Okay, just wait for him to do the big one, and then you can go underneath it. One more, there we go, and just go. Yeah, it's harder to kill these things now. They're called fire antlions, by the way. That's their name. I know the name of every enemy in this game. Alright, so here's the first locked door you need for which you need the key, so go inside this one, and then we're here. Remember this place? We're out the other door now, and in here is the third heart. Here it is, yes. So now we have 3 hearts, and that will make the hospital more expensive. Now, you don't actually need the other key to get that one. If you can wait for ages until you're Hawkman, go down this one and get it by flying up, but there's no point in doing that because there are enough keys in the game to get everything without having to do that, so yeah, you can get this one now, but you can get this one without having to use a key if you want. You know, make sure you get every charm stone that comes out of there. Don't miss any there like I did the first time I went through this game. Okay, so that's that. Another hovering smog. Let's use an arrow, there we go. And a big one, there we go. Can't seem to get these without a tornado, so no point even attempting it. Okay, now down here is a wandering bone, so kill him. And that's that. That's just if you want to skip this, which isn't really that bad, but anyway, so now fall down here and we're trapped. Oh no, but there's a secret door, and this is an important secret door because yeah, if you don't have a shield, just do this. There we go. And then big jump. No, mucked it up. There we go. And then here is a third key in this area. So we need this key to get inside the pyramid later on. That's the only key that you get if you've used the other 2 up. Anyway, these fairy zombies don't drop anything, so don't bother. Now remember how these blocks underneath me are gold? Remember that for later. Especially if you want all the charms, or not charm stones, especially if you want all the magic stones. Ah, forget it. Okay, get the goblin. Okay, don't go inside the pyramid that way, there's no point, there's nothing in there for you. Unless you want pain. It's really cold, my hands are cold, so it's difficult. I'm not as dexterous as I normally am with the with my hands because, well, the dexterous is with hands, but it's always with hands, but you know what I mean. I can't press the keys as fast as I'd like to because it's so cold. I don't have the heating on. Anyway, yeah, so there's water over there, but we can't reach it. There's also a chest and a door. So, yeah, we'll have to come back here later. I love how non-linear this game is. I mean, you have to explore every area as every character. It's a really nice touch. And it's everything that the original should have been. You know, they should have... I mean, if you remember how I complained about Wonder Boy Monster World, how it wasn't a proper sequel to Wonder Boy Through the Dragon's Chapter, just sort of like, it was lackluster. You know, this is... If they released this on the Master System, this should have been the proper sequel to Wonder Boy Through the Dragon's Trap. You know, a bigger game, a harder game. You know, I mean, they could have just released something like this and sort of altered the plot a bit. Just made this, you know, with the same gameplay, not with the silly gameplay mechanics of Wonder Boy Monster World, with the silly sound effects and everything that I didn't like. You know, I didn't like that game much, Wonder Boy Monster World. It's a decent game, but it's just compared to Wonder Boy Through the Dragon's Trap, it's just not very good. Anyway, and here is another hospital, so use it, and she's charging 150 this time, blimey. Blimey, daylight robbery. Okay, so lure this annoyance over here, come on. Try not to lose too many medicines, they are rare, and later on in the game there is an opportunity to get infinite, well not infinite but unlimited of them, but it's extremely difficult and you run the risk of losing more medicines than gaining one. But that's the only way I managed to get loads for the last level, by just sort of practicing at a certain bit and getting one medicine over and over again, because it's the only place I could find one every time. Anyway, fall down here. Should be a goblin. You can block the goblin shots with the flames now. I don't think you could do that in the Master version. That door takes you back. That's where we were earlier with that chest we saw earlier. So, but if you have a key, go inside the dungeon, and here we go. Okay, this area is a bit harder as well. No, good. Good. Let's go. Quickly go. Oh, good health. This one's a bit harder to do, but the pattern is pretty simple. Oh, whoops, damn. Well, I screwed that up. Never mind. Okay, Will-O-Wisp. That's yeah. This enemy's a giant cobra or something. The blue giant cobra. Another Will-O-Wisp. Ah, go away. Oh, good health. Right, another giant toad. No secret doors on top of the Tutankhamun things, whatever they are. Egyptian things. Can't believe I did that. How stupid of me. Another Will-O-Wisp. And an annoyance. Goblin. Annoying wandering bone. Perfect. Yeah, there's nothing to the left or right, just keep going down. There we go. It's relatively simple here. This is now don't be lulled, as they say, into a false sense of security. This is the first level isn't too much more difficult than the original Master System version, but later on, you know, Mouse Man's way especially was where at least for me, is where the game got extremely difficult, and I lost loads and loads of medicines and continues on. Yeah, don't go right. There's nothing there. Go to the left. No, yeah, Mouse Man's way is where the game starts getting really difficult. This way is actually quite easy, considering the rest of the game is extremely difficult. Trust me. The enemies are mad. There are loads of difficult enemies and loads of difficult enemy placements, etc., etc. Oh. Oh. Whoops. Oh, yeah, don't waste your things by accident. Really annoying. Another enemy. Oh, I can't get that, never mind. Oh. Knew that would happen. There's no way out of it. That's what I want, health. Good. Okay, the boss is just below. It's the Mummy Dragon like before. The same strategy like before. No real difference. Oh no, there's more enemies before. Yeah, still below though. Oh good, more health, excellent. Okay, one more blue cobra, that's it, good. And here is the Mummy Dragon. Okay, same strategy like before, just jump, get in the mouth, and then duck underneath it to let the green stuff go over you, that's it. Okay, 3 hits if you can, there we go. Try to get them quickly, because it's sort of... sometimes the Mummy Dragon will sort of start shooting before you finish shooting at it, which is annoying. It didn't happen on the Master System version, you've got a lot more time in that. There we go. Whoops. Halfway done. Now, in the Master System version, you couldn't pause it and choose another weapon. It just said, it just paused it. You couldn't get to the menu in the boss room. In this game, you can, so that's a bit easier. But it sort of made it harder, so you couldn't choose a really good magic weapon. You had to choose one beforehand if you wanted to use one. You could still use them, you just couldn't choose them. Oh, that was close. I'm nearly dead. I'll try not to die. Oh good, excellent. That's the end of that. Okay, try to get as much gold as you can. Yeah, I didn't want to use a medicine. Don't you dare, git. Whoops, I was hoping it would go underneath me. Never mind. It's a lot harder to avoid that now. Okay, that takes us there. You want to go this way. Oh no. Yeah, I want to go back to... Wait a minute. Yeah, you want to go up this way. Ooh, that was close. Goodness gracious me. I didn't mean to do that. Right, you want to go all the way up here. And try to make it to... Whoops. Try to make it to the hospital. Well, I need to anyway. Because I'm about to lose a medicine. I don't want to lose a medicine because they're so difficult to find. Yes, come on. There we go. Good. So far, so good. And here's the hospital. Good. Excellent. Wonderful. Try to get my money back. There we go. Now we're going to that door that we couldn't reach before as Lizard Man. Yes, come on. I think there's another goblin down below. Yeah, there he is. There we go. Oh. Okay, to stick to mouse block now, just press the jump button again. That's it. As you land, there we go. Because we need to stick to this mouse block. There's some awkward platforming later on in Mouse Man's Way, and it's really awkward to do with the new style of mouse block, attaching yourself, sort of thing. Okay, make sure you get everything here. Good, that's everything. Yep, good. How many charm stones do you have now? 6, good. Right, let's have a look in the shop, and there's the dancing shield. Let's get that. Good. That's Mouse Man. Well, for now, it's a shield that's only good with Mouse Man, but it's Mouse Man's best shield now at the moment. So that puts us shield points up, increases it by 30 up to 60. That's good. And then here's the return door here. Lovely. When you load your game, the game will go, the health will be put back to the top again, so there's no point going to the hospital and wasting your money. Anyway, that's the end of... I will just show you one thing, actually, before I save the game and end the video. Yeah, so this place... yeah, sort of awkward to stick on. That place now needs 30 magic stones to go in there, so we can't go in there until much later. Yeah, it sort of makes it so that you don't need charm points, but you still need magic stones to go inside certain shops. So, anyways, that's that done. Let's save the game, and we're done. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Smoking Pig, and in the next video I'll be exploring the game as Mouse Man. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.